like the idea that a voice can just go somewhere uninvited, like a dirty thought in a nice clean mind.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jay. This is the Liberal Lens. Today, let's talk about Trump's cognitive decline and how it seems to be getting worse right in front of our eyes. But the mainstream media doesn't want to talk about it all that often. And this is coming from Donald Trump, who was always after Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe. We keep hearing about the auto pen, but we see Trump keep getting unhinged and getting angry and lashing out more than he ever has. And I know people are going to be like, that's normal for Trump, but it's gotten worse. And we're seeing his cognitive decline like right in front of our eyes, and we see him deteriorating. And just check this out, and we'll talk about it in a minute.
But you always find something new, like, is he in good health? Biden was great, but is Trump in good health? I sit here, I do 4 news conferences a day. I ask questions from very intelligent lunatics, you people. I give the right answers. There's never a scandal. There's never a problem. I give you answers that solve your little problems. You go back and you can't find anything, but you do stories about Biden was in wonderful health. The guy didn't do a news conference for 8 months. If I go one day, I had one day where I didn't do a news conference, there's something wrong with the president. You people are crazy. I'll let you know when there's something wrong. There will be someday. That's going to happen to all of us. But right now, I think I'm sharper than I was 25 years ago, but who the hell knows? By the way, I took my physical. I got all A's, everything. But they said to me, would you like to take a cognitive test? I said, is it hard? They said, yes. I said, well, I'm a very smart person. Who was the last president to take one? No president has ever agreed to take one. Because when you get into the mid-questions, meaning, 10, question number 10, 11, 12, 28, 30, they get harder and harder. And they said, would you like to do it? I said, well, no reason to do it. Nobody's ever done it. I'll do it maybe, but there's really no reason.
He sounded like a 5-year-old talking to their parents about a test they had to take. And who the fuck just goes and takes a cognitive test unless there's something wrong? Who's out here getting MRIs unless there's something wrong? These are not things you go for preventative measures. They don't sit you through cognitive tests unless there is a problem that's being seen and they're trying to figure out the issue. And the way he talks about it, you can just see that he's not all there. The rambling in the beginning, the trying to brag about taking a cognitive test. Yeah, Donnie, remember ball, truck, kite, and then we'll come back to you at the end and ask you that again. Like all A's. I don't know how people listen to him and don't even see that there's a problem here. And the fact that he keeps bringing up this cognitive test just shows that there's something going on that he's trying to hide, or there wouldn't be this much conversation about it. And then he says things that don't even make sense. Like when he says shit, when he's talking about drug prices, he doesn't even make fucking sense. And he just keeps doubling down on the same dumb shit. And I'm wondering how many times people around him have to tell him like, hey, Dementia Donnie, that's not how it works. Listen to him here talking about drug prices.
To slash drug prices by 200%, 300%, 400%, 500%, 600%, 700%, 800%. Nobody's ever heard of it before because I instituted favored nations.
I don't know, Donnie, the math ain't mathing, because if that's the case, sign me up for as many prescriptions as you can get. If you are going to pay me money to go get a prescription, I'm in. Like when he was saying the eggs are down 300%. They'd be paying me to buy eggs. I want to go buy as many as I can and donate them to every food pantry in the country because we're going to feed a bunch of hungry people while I'm getting paid. That's not how the math works, Donnie. And somebody needs to tell Dementia Don, as he was just in the last clip talking about how he's an intelligent person. Don't worry, nobody is ever going to accuse you of being an intelligent person. That's not something you have to worry about. And these are the things we talk about. Like, he's not even intelligent enough to hold the position. But then with his cognitive decline, the bruising on his hands, when we see the bag tied to his leg, which has to be a catheter. There's rumors out there that there's a colostomy bag. I don't know how true that is. We had seen videos and pictures where it looked like he was wearing a diaper. I don't know how long we have to go through this before Congress and other people start to get worried. I guess the only reason they're not worried is because they all know it's actually Stephen Miller who's running the country and not to mention Don. So they don't have to worry about Trump making any decisions. And if you ever noticed, he can never talk in one of these settings without reading. He has to read everything he's saying. And then when he does decide that he's just going to freestyle and go from there, it sounds like you're talking to your 5th grade kid who just came home from kindergarten and was excited because they passed their finger painting test. And I know people are going to say, like, oh, he doesn't mean it. Well, he doubled down on it. Listen to him right here. He doubles down on the drug prices.
Under my executive order to lower prescription drug prices, which I think is the single biggest thing we've ever done that nobody writes about because you're fake news. I've made unprecedented deals along with Bobby and Oz and all of the people that work on it. A lot of people that you wouldn't even think work on it, but they do, to slash drug prices by 200%, 300%, 400%, 500%, 600%.
All right, again, the math ain't mathing, but you see how he talks about it, and Oz and Bobby and a bunch of people worked on it that you wouldn't even think worked on it. Like this weird rambling he has. And it's when you have dementia or the set of Alzheimer's or whatever, and I've experienced this with somebody in my family, they get confused. And when you do research on it, what happens is they forget what they're talking about, but their brain can't accept that. So it inserts something in place of that, and they start rambling. And sometimes they remember what they were talking about originally and try to switch back over, but sometimes they don't. And the brain can't accept the fact that it just forgot. So it puts something in the place of there, and then you start talking about that. And this is what we're seeing with Trump a lot. And the problem is he's got people doubling down on his dumb bullshit. This is insane to me that people double down on this kind of crazy shit. I mean, if you look at it right there, they're doubling down on Trump cutting prices 1,600%. 1,600% they're saying Trump is cutting prices. Let me put that back up just because you're going to give me thousands of dollars to go get meds. I'm in. I don't even need them. I'm in. The fact that even his supporters don't even realize that how uneducated they sound. This is like remedial math. This isn't some like calculus or quantum physics. This is literally remedial math percentages and how it works. And this is the guy who's running our country. And this is why he doesn't comprehend how tariffs work. This is how he doesn't comprehend on how the economy works, and that he just says what he wants to say so that he feels good about himself, because for some reason he thinks everybody's believing it. Well, I don't even know if he cares if everybody's believing him. He just knows that there's a certain percentage that believe him in MAGA. But I think some of them are finally starting to wake up and see what's going on. But another thing that comes along with dementia, Alzheimer's, is they have rage. And I know people are going to be like, he's always been angry. Yeah, he's always been a bully. But the rage, the Miss Piggy, the way he's lashing out at people, it's different than the last time he was president. It's completely different if you go back and look. And just look how unhinged he gets at times when he's talking to reporters.
A question about this tragic shooting in Washington, D.C. U.S. officials say that the suspect worked very closely with the CIA in Afghanistan for years, that he was vetted, and the vetting came up clean.
He went cuckoo. I mean, he went nuts. And that happens too. It happens too often with these people. You see them. But look, this is how they come in. This is how they're standing on top of each other. And that's an airplane. There was no vetting or anything. They came in unvetted. And we have a lot of others in this country. We're going to get them out. But they go cuckoo. Something happens to them.
Your DOJ IG just reported this year that there was thorough vetting by DHS and by the FBI of these Afghans who were brought into the U.S. So why do you blame the Biden administration for what this man did?
Are you stupid? Are you a stupid person? Because they came on a plane along with thousands of other people that shouldn't be here, and you're just asking questions because you're a stupid person. And there's a law passed that it's almost impossible not to get them out. You can't get them out once they come in. And they came in, and they were unvetted, they were unchecked, there were many of them, and they came in on big planes.
Do you see how if anybody challenges what Donald Trump says, even with facts, he gets enraged? You're a stupid person. You're a stupid person. Because he doesn't want to have to accept the fact that people are seeing through his bullshit, but it's also the dementia. Like, he's starting to believe the bullshit he's saying. And then he's getting agitated when anybody pushes back on him. This is another sign. This is another sign that his mental health is declining. And this is the guy who went on tirades about Joe Biden. Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe, the auto pen. Sleepy Joe didn't even know what's going on. Really? Well, let's look at Trump from his own cabinet meeting when Mark Rubio was talking directly to him. Oh, Dementia Donnie's taking a nap, and we're seeing this a lot now. He's passing out in meetings. He passes out and takes a nap with world leaders sitting right next to him. But we're going to say that there's not a cognitive decline? And then the New York Times had that article about his decline where they talked about how his appearances are down 39%, how he's starting the day at noon instead of at 10 a.m., and he's still calling it quits at 5 p.m. So now he's working a 5-hour day. Yeah, our president is working a 5-hour day. And we've known since his first term, but it's been brought up again, that he hates going to briefings. He doesn't always show up. They have to put it in a PowerPoint type one-page thing briefing for Donald Trump, when presidents every morning have to read a small book of briefing on what's going on. But Trump can't do it. He doesn't have the mental capacity to do it. So we take a man who's not very intelligent to begin with, who's got the vocabulary of a fourth grader, who's enraged by anything right now, and he's running the country. He's passing out with world leaders right next to him. He's taking naps at his own cabinet meeting. But nobody wants to call him out. But they had a bunch to say about Joe Biden. And I'm not saying Joe Biden was fit to be president. At what point do we start to go, maybe we shouldn't be electing 70 and 80-year-old people to run the fucking country? At what point should they just relax and retire and be done with this? And I mean, I'm not that old yet, but I'm getting older. I got the gray in the beard. I already know I don't heal as quick as I did when I was 25. I already know I can't run as fast as I was when I was 25. And I know if I try to play basketball like I did when I was 25, I'm going to tear my fucking ACL. And we all have grandparents in our lives or older people who we've seen as age gets to them. Even if they don't cognitively decline, they slow down. They answer us a little slower. It's all part of aging. It's a normal thing. So the fact that he's still president is the fucking problem. The fact that we elect people that this age is the problem. And the fact that nobody seems to be calling him out except the New York Times for his decline is crazy. And it's something we need to pay attention to. There is a reason that there's amendments in the Constitution for things like this. It is really not safe for an unhinged lunatic to be running the country. And he's so uneducated and he's not intelligent, which just doubles down on the problem. And he's got a group of angry fucking people who are just backing him because he liberates their same bullshit, their hate, their anger. And so they're just lashing out with him. And this is what we're fighting against. All right. I hope when you guys see this, because I'll drop it in the morning. So this is the night of the Tennessee 7th District election. I hope when you guys see this, we have good news and a Democrat stole that seat. I doubt it will happen. But the fact that Trump won that district by 27 points, I believe, and now it's within 5 is already a loss for the GOP. It's already a loss for the Republican Party, and they should be worried for things to come in the future. We saw the blue wave. It was a small blue wave, but it was a blue wave because it was just all special elections. But we saw that blue wave. And now we're about a year out from the midterms. We need a blue fucking tsunami. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all the support. Please go over to YouTube and hit that subscribe. You've been showing us so much love on Facebook. We love you for it. Thank you again. All right, everybody, hit that like and subscribe. One world, one love. Deuces.
Everything's polluted. The environment, the government, the schools, you name it.
This radio person is the whole problem. Are we going to allow this guy to be heard by anyone who can turn a dial?
You out there?